And we're live. I want to welcome everybody to a very special episode of Warhammer Weekly Widow Live. Warhammer Weekly Widow Live, the Q&A session that Cathy has announced on Wednesday. I have the honor of introducing this. Something that Vince never lets me do on my channel. So while Vince is away, I get to play. So does Cathy. So Cathy, tell us about what we're going to do, and we will get things kicked off.
So this is an opportunity for the next hour to ask me anything about Vince. We're going to go ahead and start the chat. I have a couple questions folks have sent in, and basically there's not much I won't answer. So I'm pretty excited for this. And I'm doing this all while Vince has a marathon session going on. So consequently, he's not allowed to be in here. He might be listening at the door. I thought about locking it, but it's kind of okay. And then we'll start out with, oh, no, Vince did not die. I have not taken over his channel. I've taken over his channel for an hour. There are specific guidelines that I have that I may or may not follow. One of which I did follow, which is just seltzer water, sparkling water, no liquor. So, because I get a little too chatty. Tom, on the other hand,
unlike Cathy, I have decided to opt for a nice, wonderful glass of bourbon cream. So I'm ironically at Vince and Cathy's house upstairs, and I am drinking. So there's not going to be much regulation oversight coming from me. So let's get this thing kicked off. Cathy, you said we had some questions come in beforehand. Let's hit up some of those. So just state those and kind of answer and talk. I might interact a little bit. And then what we'll do is we'll highlight questions in the chat as well. Beforehand. Let's hit
Sorry.
up some of those. So just state those. You can mute that.
How do I mute that?
There's a button on that screen.
Damn it, Vince!
No, this is why I'm here, Cathy. There you go. No, just hit the pause button.
I hit the pause button.
Really? There's a button on that screen.
Damn it, Vince!
This is amazing. There you go.
I've already screwed this up. He's never going to let me come back.
Probably.
Oh, yes. Savior! I hit
stop. We're in a loop now, Vince. Welcome.
Screw this up. He's never gonna let me come back.
Probably.
Oh.
I'm not off, so it's not making noise. There you go.
Now I'm muted.
Did you
I feel very flushed now. I'm very
You're good.
hot.
You're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
No,
Everything's
good. I feel very, very flushed. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. This is not my day job. So yeah, it's okay. So one of the questions that I got, thank you, Vince. Okay, he's gone now. He did hear me scream earlier. One of the questions I got was, how much time does Vince really spend painting? And I know we talked a lot about this a little bit in the Wives edition of Warhammer Weekly. And I guess I'm going to answer it in the inverse, which is how much time does he not spend painting? So he spends a great deal of time not painting. We established when I was in grad school these things called date nights. And so when I was in grad school, I would have 4-hour classes at a time. And I had them 3 times a week. And it just depended on what that week was. And we would set aside time to date, even though we were married, right? It just made sense at the time. So those designated times were date night. And so they were set aside regardless of what we were doing. We would make sure that we spent time together. And even if we had something else going on, I want to go hang out with a friend, or Vince wanted to do something, we just made sure that we had the time together. And we've carried that through almost 15 years of marriage. So those are nights I know that Vince has set aside for me, because in the beginning, and a lot of wives will find, I was very much he's choosing this hobby over me, or he's choosing this time to not spend with me, and I was bitter, and I was like, I don't understand it. I don't understand why you want to hang out online with people. I don't get it. I mean, nobody likes Tom, so like,
It's true.
why would Vince be choosing Tom, right? Like, I didn't get it. So once we started that process, everything went really smooth, and it seemed to like make sense for us, and we just sort of carried it through. So I know specifically that, like, for example, Monday night is date night. So what that means is that I will come home from work, and now Vince works from home. I'll come home from work and we'll do something for dinner, like whether I make dinner or we do takeout. He's the takeout guy. And then or we can do a movie, or we can go somewhere or whatever, but we make sure that we have those times set aside for us. So I don't feel like, I mean, he does spend a ton of time on the hobby, right? And he's really committed to the community. But I don't feel, I hate to say the word neglected, Tom. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, it sounds like what you're saying is that you guys set aside appropriate amounts of time. And so what ends up happening is that there's not, it enables freedom for you to pursue your hobbies, both of you for that matter.
Yeah.
And not feel that the attention of an individual when it's not on you is not, it's not creating a gap in your life. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. And although I would like to say that his shopping, like my Amazon shopping, is pretty good. But I would like to say that the mini stop boxes that have been arriving at the house of late seriously makes me worry. Like, I don't think he can put one more nail polish like thing up on the wall. There's no more wall. So like, I don't know what's going to happen here, because I mean, I'm looking at around, and everything is full. Okay. All the little paint things are full, and there's probably, I mean, I can't even pick up the just dozens of paint that is just on his table.
Well, are you afraid that it's going to leak out of his painting room into the other spaces?
So I'm kind of worried. So I have printers boxes upstairs. And I kind of worry that all of a sudden those are just going to come up missing out of my craft room and disappear into the basement. Because I'm telling you, like right now, and just sitting here, I spy with my little eye at least 3 things that are mine. So like, he doesn't get double face tape. This is mine. This came out of my craft room. Okay? Like, what the hell is this? He didn't buy Elmer's glue. This came out of my craft room. He didn't buy E6000. Again, mine.
So what I'm hearing you say, Cathy, is that
why is there a lint roller down here?
because you have dogs.
Why? I don't.
So you don't resent the time, you do resent all the stuff that he takes. That's what I'm hearing. Am I reflecting that accurately?
I've got blue tape. This is mine. I've got a dog down here now. Okay.
That one's yours too.
The wire cutters. Yeah, the wire cutters. Those are his. Oh, that's where my glue gun went. Damn it. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna reel you back in, Cathy.
Sorry.
You're good.
I got completely. Sorry.
No,
I got a little.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys budget appropriate amounts of time, and so that allows Vince to be quite free with his hobby time. He has unusual sleep hours, much like myself.
What is with that?
And so, I mean, he hobbies a lot. So, like, honestly, like, he probably puts in a solid, like, 50-hour painting week. Like, full weekends and evenings. And, yeah, absolutely.
That's fair. He does have a strange sleep schedule. He binge sleeps, like he's still in college. So on Sundays, he doesn't see he's never seen dawn. He's never seen the morning. Oh, wait, I take that back. He's seen the start of Sunday morning, but never the actual go to sleep and wake up when it's morning. Like that doesn't happen. But again, that means I get to do whatever I want. So like it's nice. I dig it.
So there's freedom. Okay,
Yes.
so that's question one.
Yes.
Next question.
Okay. All right. Let's see, if I do this, it's gonna screw everything up. The next question. Oh, how long have I've been married. So we've been married almost 15 years. It'll be 15 years in August. We dated for 2 years before that. And we were engaged for 1. Oh, how do we meet? Oh, crap. Stop laughing, Tom Lyons.
Go on.
Okay. So, okay. Vince is my best friend's ex-boyfriend from high school. Did you follow that? So Vince was dating Kate, and Vince and Kate break up. I'm still friends with all of Vince's friends. Now, he tells the story very differently, but I was still friends with all of his friends. And
luckily, he's not here right now. So you have center stage to tell it however you like.
Okay, so let me tell you the truth. All right, so I was friends with all of Vince's friends, but I wasn't really friends with Vince. Like he says that we were like friends, but we weren't like really friends because he and she would go off and do the things, whatever. They would run away, and we would go to like Cedar Point or whatever, and he would go off with her. And then I would hang with there were 5 guys that lived in a house, and I would hang out with those guys. Never dated any of them. Hung out with those 5 guys in the house, or the 4 other guys in the house. And when Kate and Vince broke up, Vince got thrown back in the mix. So that way, and then 2 years later, he asked me out. And then in typical Vince fashion, I had to convince him that I was saying yes to being asked out. So he was like, it's okay. If you don't want to like break up the friendship and you don't want to, like it was very, it's okay. You don't have to let me down easy. He was very like, all right, okay, we'll go out. And so, yeah, that was kind of how we met. So I've known him since like 97. So a long time. And we started dating in 2000 or 2001. Math is hard. Yeah, that's all I got. All right. What's next?
Did you have any more pre-questions that we had received?
We can always go back to them. So
otherwise, I have 2 new questions that have just been asked. I posted them to the.
Yeah, I see that. So I think Vince already answered that he wears boxers. And what he didn't want, or what he didn't think it was a big deal or whatever, but the fact that my mother buys them is what I think is funny. So Vince firmly believes in like the shirt fairy. The shirt fairy brings him shirts for Christmas, or they just magically appear. And it is most of the time it's my mom, like, because she takes care of the son-in-law, and that's what she does. So they're boxers, and yeah, there's nothing special about them. Like, yeah. What is Vince doing if you're at his painting table? Panicking. He is absolutely panicking because I am sitting here at the painting table. I have access to sharp objects. I have access to makeup brushes. And what appears to be some funky looking tweezers. Is he like practicing to be a dentist? Like, what the hell is going on with this? Like, do I have to be worried, Tom? That like in the middle
those are
of the
all
night?
miniature things.
Okay. All right. I appreciate that because it's a little sketchy.
I'll reassure you. It's all good.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Okay.
What words are hard? Let me jump back. So somebody had asked what Vince is doing. To be clear, we are, myself and a number of our friends get together multiple times a year, and we do like gaming marathons where we'll play like D&D, or we'll play Rifts or some other RPG for like a 4-day stint for about 12 hours a day, 12 to 16 hours a day. And we are in the middle of one of those right now. And so I have stepped away from the table to help join Cathy for this hour. while they all are continuing to roll dice and do some role playing. So that's where Vince is right now. No, my question was going to be what's your paint? Will you stand up and show us your painting smock?
Okay, so I've seen Vince gets to wear like the fun ones, whatever. So I got myself the Warhammer Weekly Widow. So I have an apron now too. So I feel fancy. That's all. That's all I got. Sorry, Tom.
That's great. It's great. So the next question was, what would Vince collect if he didn't collect miniatures?
Oh man. Parking tickets? No.
That is patently untrue because that man probably leaves the house twice a week.
That's true. You're right. It's not parking tickets. I don't know what he would collect. It would be something in the hobby. Like it would be not necessarily miniatures, but maybe, he would do, he loves books. So like D&D books, like things like that. Like there's a ton of that sort of thing, but I'm not really sure what he would collect other than miniatures. Dust?
I would go with,
I don't know.
Dust is high up there. I would go with like gaming memorabilia.
Oh, yes.
And what I mean by that is like D&D books and Rifts books and some of like the Chase limited edition stuff. I could see him. And also like classic first prints of books. Like Vince is the type of person that would probably go and like look for some classic novels and look for first prints of those. Like all of that is in that kind of, his
Absolutely.
wheelhouse.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. First edition books, that would be something that he would be interested in. Prints of things. Yeah, those are really good. That's really insightful, Tom. I'm frankly surprised. So
Indeed. So the next question is Vince tearing up when he watches does he tear up when he watches the beginning of the movie Up?
Absolutely. If you don't cry at the beginning of Up the movie, I disavow knowing you. That's just ridiculous. He better cry. If he has ice in his veins for what counts as a heart, but you've got to at least, acknowledge that from Up. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Indeed.
The next question is, what is Vince's favorite film?
Oh my gosh. He like 12, we've watched a lot of classics. He tends to like classic films. We always watch like White Christmas at Christmas time, and we watch a lot of things like that. But I would probably pull some of the Hitchcock movies, like Rear Window or Vertigo, are some of his favorite movies. He doesn't have just like one. It's specific to a genre, right? So if he's thinking like action movie, then it's got to be this, or it just depends. Like Citizen Kane, we always do. 12 Angry Men. They're just, he prefers the classics, and then he supplements with everything else. Yeah, that'll work. But he is always up for romantic comedy, so I never have to worry about like him coming upstairs and he catches me watching 27 Dresses, and he will sit down and watch with me, so I don't feel too bad. So yeah.
True. And when like what the audience doesn't know is that like, if Vince locks into a movie, like the whole world disappears. And
Absolutely.
What I mean by that, like you can't, if there's a TV on and Vince is watching, you can't actually talk to him.
No, never. No, you can't get his interest. I would have to. It doesn't even matter if it's a commercial and we're in the middle of a conversation. Just all of a sudden, he will just stop and he will just zero in, and you can't shake it unless I'm like, Vince, and like I'd have to throw something at him to be like, pay attention. You were saying and then he was gone. So yeah,
it's so true.
Yeah.
And he does that just with rom-coms as well.
Yes.
Like all of it. Like it
doesn't matter.
He locks in, he's gone.
Yes.
It's the most hilarious thing.
Yeah. So I've not caught him, like it's not a big deal, but like one of my favorite movies is French Kiss. And if it's on, he will sit down and watch it. Like, and he will do it in such a way that I wonder if he even knows there's a chair under him. Like he just sort of backs up and sits, and he may or may not meet the couch. Like it just happens. So yeah, that's good.
That's fantastic. As a reminder to our viewers, what we are doing here is we are doing a Q&A with Cathy about all things Vince. And so if you guys have questions, please, for Cathy about Vince, please put your comments in the chat on the side. And so for our next question, it was asked, you know, Cathy, what army of Vince's is your favorite, and which army of Vince's is your least favorite? So you can kind of look around, and there's a host of armies in that room.
There are. So I have always liked, I mean, this is going to go back, but I've always liked the Tomb Kings. And I really like the ones, Tommy, you were playing them yesterday. What are they?
The Stormcast?
Yes, I like the Stormcast because I like the Knights with the Wings, which are the prosecutors, right? I got that right this time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, so those are my two favorite. I do not like bugs. So like anything that has, I don't like the giant beetle things that like ride out into. So I'm not a fan, especially when he'll like bring them at me because he thinks it's hilarious to see me cringe. And for the longest time, we were hiding a little bitty weeping angel everywhere. Like we would hide it. And I found that like in the laundry, like once, like that freaked me out. So I was like, okay, so I'm not a fan of whatever that belonged to. I was not a fan. So yeah, he knew that would like startle me. Like all of a sudden there's this little weeping angel figurine. And I was like, well, blinking, you're dead. Okay.
Well,
So,
given your love of birds, I figured for your fate, for your
devil.
I know.
Are the devil. Birds are going to kill you. Like there was a period of time where we were in London and all of these like pigeons were like flying at us around Millennium Bridge. And I was basically like, they're going to kill you. Like those birds are going to kill you. And it's going to be the end. And that's just going to be it. So yeah, that was fun.
I anticipated you would say Tzeentch was your least favorite army because of all the birds. There are birds everywhere in that army.
There are birds everywhere. I just hope he doesn't paint them like, he needs to stick with teal, you know, be his Titan of teal or whatever his, you know, and yeah, stick with the teal and paint them a funky color and I can deal with it. But when he paints the beetles, like they're really coming at me. And if Tom brings his little scorpion or
my spider army,
if you bring the spider army, I cannot be held responsible for what happens to that thing if anything should happen to that thing.
Vince feels the same way.
Yeah, not a fan.
You're not alone.
Not a fan. Spider Army, bad. So
the next question was: is Vince going to take you to see the new Mamma Mia movie?
No, and I am not going to see that movie. That is heinous. No, thank you. I'm good. I'm good.
Fair enough. So does Vince keep the Warhammer Weekly mug and apron near his painting stuff? And has he ever worn that shirt to his matches?
He's never worn the shirt. The mug is here. So it is here. I believe he dropped it.
Cool.
So I think that's why it's the painting mug and not the drinking mug. And it's disgusting right now. I don't know if you can see in it.
Looks like it's paint water.
Oh my God, it's disgusting.
That's
and it smells funny. So yeah, that's just bad.
That'll happen. Anthony, I thought you would appreciate this. He's the one that just asked that question. I actually have my shirt here as one of my marathon, my D&D marathon shirts is the Warhammer Weekly shirt.
That's amazing. I stole his Warhammer Weekly shirt, so it's mine now. But I cannot wear it out of the house because okay, so I as much as I love the logo, okay. You guys, little Vince, and little Tom, for a girl to wear the shirt, you guys need to be brought together more because right now the shirt does this.
You're saying we rest on your boobs?
Yeah, and I could really do without this one there. This one I don't mind. This one is fine. But I'm gonna have to put like duct tape over this. So just the left one is gonna be covered. Like, I mean, so there you go.
What can I say?
The boobs.
Yep. So Kieran has asked us, said, Cathy, let's talk about you for a moment. Since your recent UK holiday together, what's the best or worst part about traveling as a couple with Vince?
Oh, dear God. We travel so differently. And Tom, thank you for kind of taking the question and answer thing here. That's really, it's going really well. So tell me if you get tired and I can try to start reading.
No, you're good.
And so, we travel very differently. So when I was in grad school, we went to Chile as part of a global economy class, and it worked out really well. It was all planned. Everything was done. And we kind of got into the idea that we could travel together internationally. Lies. We travel very differently. Vince, I'll tell Vince, I'll ask Vince, are you thirsty? Okay. I've gotten better at this. And he'll say no and drive right by. He will never say, oh, are you thirsty? Do you want to stop and get something to drink? And that's a very guy-girl interaction, right? We want you to infer, which is stupid, but we want you to infer that, oh, I'm asking if he's thirsty, so I'm going to be thirsty too, and blah, 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 whatever. No, stop it. Girls, stop it. Tell them you're thirsty. Just be like, I need a drink. We're stopping there. That's it. He'll stop. But I had to get over that, right? So the first time we traveled together was Ireland, or internationally, after big trip, was Ireland. And aside from our honeymoon, which that doesn't count because you're on a honeymoon high. And so we traveled internationally. We went to Ireland, and Vince, his whole point in traveling, and he's done a lot of traveling. He's driven from Ohio to Alaska and back in a week. So he didn't want to stop on the way back. We were driving from Galway back to Dublin, and there was tons of little towns and all of this, but he got on the highway and he took all the way back to Dublin. And I was like, I kind of want to stop at all these little towns. So I feel like I kind of missed out on some of these little things because he was just in the moment driving across and wasn't the thing. When we went to London, we were near the London Bridge. We got near the Tower of London, and his philosophy was, well, you can see it from here, so you don't really need to go to it. What? That's ridiculous. I'm like, what are you talking about? You can see it from here. I'm like, let's go. Nah, I've been there once. It's not a big deal. I'm like, I was like, oh, let's go to the Natural History Museum. They have tons of exhibits that are never, don't make it over. And he was like, nah, I've seen dinosaurs. I'm good.
It's so Vince.
Right. It doesn't make sense. He's just, oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, so there you go.
Awesome.
Vince and Cathy travel very differently. And so what I've taken to doing is going with him to places and then being like, all right, I'll come back with some friends. So I'm planning London, with a friend, nah, I'll go see all the things that I got to see from afar. So wrong. It's so wrong, right? It should be yeah, okay, let's go do this. Yeah, I can see it from here. It's fine.
It's okay.
Let's cost money to get in.
And you guys can have fun. And Vince and I will go back.
There you go.
And probably not see any of that.
No, you'll just go to GW and you'll just hang out there, and that'll be your trip. Which probably. I didn't even get to go to GW.
Yeah, to Nottingham.
He was concerned. Yes. So he was kind of concerned. He wanted me to go see it, but he was kind of like, this be overwhelming? Will this be? And I was like, you just took me to Warhammer Fest. How could anything be after that? Right? I'm in. I get it. Yeah, we're good. Anyway, go on.
That's fantastic.
Right. Yeah.
So what is Vince's favorite Hugh Grant film, to return to some of the movies?
Oh, Notting Hill. 100% Notting Hill.
You heard it here first, folks. Yes. Notting Hill. Yep. Okay. So moving to some of your furred children, the next question was, does Vince treat the dogs like kids?
No, because I think that he, no, I don't think he treats the dogs like kids. We can crate the dogs for 8 hours and not have child services come get us. So, that's a plus, right, Tom? I don't think you can do that.
I'm not allowed to do that.
You're not allowed to do that.
I've asked. Amber said no.
Good. Yeah. Yay, Amber. Keep Tom grounded. No, but I will tell you about the time when he was trying to get me to come closer to, come over across the room. And he seriously, in the dog voice, said, "Come here," and hit his hands on his lap like he was calling. And I just got a dog for doing that right now. Lyra just came over to me right this very second because I did that. And I swear to you, that's exactly what Vince did. And my eyes got like huge round of saucers. So he's talked to me like he talks to the dog. Does that count?
No, not at all. So we're getting quite a show in the background right now.
I see that.
So the question is, can you tell us a little bit about the doggies that are in the room?
Come on, pause up. Come on. So we have reluctant Lyra here, who is 2, and her dad is like at Westminster, and this amazing dog, and she's a mess. She's a tank. She runs into walls. She punched a hole in a wall. She brings me pens and pencils like vertically in her mouth and spits them out at me. Yeah, she's kind of a goober. She's very sweet.
She's a golden. She's back there on the left, right there.
Golden retriever, yeah.
Yep.
And then so that's the little one, and then the ones that are being humped in the back. Teddy is not my dog. That's our friend's dog, and he is a chocolate lab. And then I have Penny. Penny, come on. So this is Penny. Penny, say hi to the camera. Yeah, this is Penny. She's 5. She's very, very sweet. But the oh God, she wants to come all the way up. She's very sweet, but she's affectionate and to a fault, to the point of where the vet calls her a drunk girl at a frat party. She just wants attention. So that's our two dogs. Yeah. 5 and 2.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, there you go.
We have a lot of people trying to fish for Vince's critical information,
Okay.
like mother's maiden name, first pet name, high school mascot. Clearly wanting to crack into some of his accounts, which I can assure you there's nothing there of interest.
No, it's all in the basement. So like when Vince dies, I'm going to hand everybody like a bag, like just a plastic bag, and be like, it's $20 to get in the basement. Take whatever you want that fits in the bag. Is that wrong?
No,
I mean,
it's okay.
You'll be the first one here, Todd Lyons.
I will be.
You won't even try to help me like sell this stuff or reprice it or anything. You're just going to be like, I will take whatever I can get in that bag. Yeah, and here's a second $20 for the second bag.
That just means that's less armies I have to paint.
It's absolutely true.
No, I will dearly miss Vince. Let us pray that that's a long time in coming. Right. Or a long time from now, rather. So, the next question, there's all kinds of questions in here. Please make custom dice.
I did mean Tower Bridge. I'm sorry. Whatever. Tower of London. I didn't get to see it. Yeah. If I'd gotten to see it, it would have more of an impact. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
One question was, will Vince cosplay as the new Slaanesh models? So this is a kind of a meta comment. So the Slaanesh is the god of, like, the demon god of excess. And often it's like hermaphroditic, male, female. The rumor currently is that we're going to get some like leather daddy models, like S&M bondage. And so the question is Vince going to cosplay for any of that?
No, Vince is not interested in any of that. Sorry.
I mean, he is. He is, but
he won't do it for himself. Like, it's not, no, that's one that involves money, and he'd have to like spend it on something other than paint or minis. And no, that's boop, done right there.
The next question from Hooves is, does Vince take models to paint when traveling?
Oh, so he tried. One time. I think he tried to take him to my parents' house for like Christmas or something. And it did not work well. Like he was missing like a critical color. He was missing something else. And he was just like, all right, I'm never doing this again. So no, not anymore. He does not take models to paint when traveling. But he seriously, like an addict, like he misses it when he's like away too long. So you can see him sort of like, well, it's about that time. We got to go. So, yeah.
So true. As a reminder for those that are just tuning in, we are doing a Q&A with Cathy, Vince's wife, of almost 15 years. So indeed, Vince is, he is married, for those that know. And someone will put up with him.
Yeah, it's true. Tom puts up with him every week.
I know.
You know, that's a
I'm
lot
not
to
sure why,
ask.
but
It's a lot to ask, and you never get to kick off. Like, I'm so glad you got to do the intro because, you know, he keeps it for himself. So
it's
that's
true.
good.
I
Yeah.
feel like I'm doing a good job. So
You are doing a great job. So thank you for doing this, because nobody wanted to be my co-host tonight. I can't do this by myself. Vince was very worried that I would, like, I think he wanted like a 7-second delay or some nonsense. Like, I told him that I would be good.
You're doing great.
Yeah. So anyway.
No, the individuals we had asked had other things that came up, and so it's
okay.
fine.
It's all right. I get
Yep.
it. I'm not taking it personally much.
Indeed. So,
I'd like to wait, Tom.
Go. Yeah.
You have adopted Vince's Indeed. You know that, right? Like, I've heard you use it like 2 or 3 times here.
I know.
It makes me a little nervous.
Yeah, it's funny, over the years I've watched as certain verbal cues have bled across our friendship. And so, like, I've been hearing him say, "Let me be clear" more often, and it makes me laugh every time he does it. And
oh my God, that's so awesome!
I don't call him on it though, because if I call him on it, he'll stop doing it.
You're right.
And so,
he will.
So I'm just gonna let it like continue to just slowly seep in until it's regular, and like to record him sometime, or for us to do a show sometime, and then finally point out like, hey, go watch our show.
Right.
And then and count it and let him come to that self-realization.
Oh my God, that'd be so amazing. Okay, I will not.
It's okay. He'll watch this show, and so I've already spoiled it. But I say all that to say, it's normal. Like, for those of you that don't know,
couple.
We are. The joke from my wife is like, oh, are you going to hang out with your other spouse tonight?
Yeah.
Because I mean, Vince and I both work in environments where we're alone. And what I mean by that is, like, he works from home. I have a home office because I do research and stuff like that for my PhD. And so inevitably what that ends up meaning is that him and I are office mates, because we're on a voice chat like 8 hours a day, and so like we functionally share office space together. And so there's going to be bleed through, and we've been friends for 20 years now or something, more than that. Yeah. So it's been, awesome. That will naturally happen. And of course, indeed, I have adopted some of his language, and vice versa. So next question. So if you all have questions, please post them in the comments on the side, and we're going to keep going for about a little over 20 minutes or so. So the next question is can you give us 3 adjectives, 2 verbs, and an animal to describe Vince?
Oh my gosh. Well, first of all, the little animal, him and his little, I don't know what kind of bird this is, but it's so totally Vince, especially with the little eyebrow there. So I would go.
That's a Lord of Change. That's a demon.
Okay. Oh, great. Great. So it's not even a real bird. Great.
Not even a bird. I mean, look, it's vulture-like.
Not even a bird. It's a vulture-like thing. Okay. An adjective. So a couple adjectives to describe it. Clever. Vince is clever. He is very dedicated, like, to his friends. He's very loyal, and to some extent he is tireless. Like, if he is committed to something, he will absolutely exhaust all resources to make something happen, whether it's for the community, for his coworkers, for his friends, and so I think those are some good ones for Vince.
Tireless is both a good and a bad thing.
It is. It absolutely is, because he can become so focused that he cannot be moved from that point of view, from that commitment, from that like, he's a high achiever, and I won't say, like, I mean, I could go like all strengths finders here and kick in like he has a high responsibility and almost like a pathological need to achieve whatever he says he's going to commit to. So
it's true. This is why when us starting at not 9 p.m. like gets like right at the heart of like his crawl. Like, if anything makes him super upset or uncomfortable, it's like when he says, "Hey, we're gonna kick off the show at 9 p.m."
Oh yeah.
And like it's like 9:04.
Oh
like, if we do that, like, man, if there's any way I can twist the knife on Vince more, I don't know what it is.
But it's a complete, okay, what you might not know is it's a complete double standard because he absolutely hates it when I'm late. So like when we both used to work for the same company and we would carpool and he would want to leave exactly at 4:30 or exactly at 5:00. But if I was late, he would be livid. But if he was late, oh, that's a double standard. And he would openly say, listen, this is a double standard. Like I will not be on time and you're going to have to deal with it. And it would annoy it out of me. And I would be infuriated. We lost a dentist because of this, Tom. He was so late one time that because we had like both had like dental just checkups and we were both like leaving and he was late and they were like, well, you know, we have time for one of you, and they took Vince back and then they basically divorced us. And it was all because of him.
Oh, that's hilarious and terrible all at the same time.
It is hilarious and terrible. Yeah. So
give us two verbs. You gave us adjectives. You gave us an animal. Give us two verbs.
Animal. I didn't give you. Well, yeah, we'll go with Lord of Change. Two verbs. Can I come back to two verbs? I can't think of verbs right now.
Yeah, we can come back to it. That's fine.
Okay. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Let's do. Does Vince have a Captain Picard uniform? No.
Again, to the cosplay. I'm the one. I have a bumper sticker on my car that says "Tea Earl Grey hot," but he doesn't have anything like that.
Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, it's kind of adorable.
So, on a scale of 1 to 10, how happy are you Vince is in this hobby and not something else?
Oh, absolutely. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna go 8, 8.5, 9. Like it's a sliding scale, depends on my mood. I didn't like it about the time that he accidentally airbrushed the dog's tail. So that was kind of like one of those moments where I was like, can you have a hobby that doesn't freaking get paint everywhere, right? Or the fact that the airbrush floor underneath it, like he will have to buy new carpet for this room, like at some point. Like it's just like, so that stuff makes me like, but in the grand scheme of things, I don't really, that's just stuff. I don't care. Right.
Yeah.
So
Amber says about me, about my hobby. She's like, I love the fact that I know where my husband is.
Right. Yes.
like when I'm not there, if I disappear for 4 days from her and the kids, she knows exactly where I am and that she could come here at any point and know exactly what I'm doing. And so she's like, okay, dice, whatever. It's
and you're not at the glitter factory, right? Like you're hanging out with us.
Yeah, exactly. So, We're not pounding back drinks and I mean it's.
So I think and the dice I gotta promote here, Tom. The dice.
Oh yeah. So Cathy ordered us these amazing cookies for the marathon, and that's the only one left.
I have more.
Oh well, excellent.
I have more. I hid them.
She brought like 10 down or 8, 9 down, and I totally ate 2 of them. They were fantastic.
Yeah. They're amazing. It's from a company in Westerville, Ohio called 2 Chicks and a Cookie.
I accept.
Yeah, they were awesome. So yeah, very nice.
So the next question is Vince into Star Trek or Star Wars or something else like Babylon 5?
He was never into Babylon 5. We have a couple of friends that wanted us to get into Babylon 5, and then there's something else that we didn't do. Farscape. We didn't do Farscape either, but. Star Wars, yes, and Star Trek, yes. Star Trek, Next Generation, and when it's on BBC America, we watch it. Like we can leave it on in the background, and Vince we'll walk by and then be like completely into. Oh, this is the episode so and so. Like he knows all of that. He can jump right back in. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's probably accurate. I think he's too critical of Star Wars.
At least the new versions, right? Like
in the Toto,
yes, he can't. So I would go TNG over Star Wars. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yep. So the next question was just how many dogs do you all have? We kind of answered this already, but just to put a pin on it, 2. There are 3 in the background for those that are joining us late. One is we're here for a marathon at the Venturella's house, and one of our friends has brought their dog. And so Teddy is being attacked by the twins.
Yes.
They're not twins, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
Okay, other questions.
Oh, Tom, how did you and Vince meet?
How did Vince and I meet? So there was years and years and years ago, there was a store in Lima, Ohio, where we grew up, a small town in northwestern Ohio, where interestingly the TV show Glee is supposed to be set. I assure you, people in Lima do not break into song in high school. I'm sorry. But no, we met at a game store, in Lima called Wizards World. And we were both Magic players at the time. This was 94.
Okay.
It was in 94, 95. Like, it was right after Magic came out. And we were, I was in middle school, and I would come to Wizards World, like, after my morning, like, YMCA basketball games. Vince was, 2 years older than me, I think. 2 years older than me. And him and he was working for the store, so he was like maybe 16, or I don't know. He was working for the store, probably child labor at the time. And,
absolutely.
And probably working for Magic Cards, if I remember the story correctly. And so he would work there, and I played Magic and just hung out. And so we got to know each other through that local game store. And after it closed down, we continued to kind of hang out. And he moved to Columbus, and the friendship kind of persisted. So
nice.
And that's a lot of years ago.
That's a lot. See, math is hard.
Yeah, it is. It's like
I say that tongue in cheek because Tom was a math major, I was a math minor. So I mean, like, I say that kind of.
It's legit.
It's legit, right? Just adding is hard. Like, we can derivatives, we can do integrals, we can do non-Euclidean geometry. That's easy, but adding years, nope, can't do it.
Yep.
Not without a calculator.
It was 23 years ago, I think, that we've known each other.
There you go.
Yeah, something like that. So, other questions. So, what type of music does Vince listen to?
So he has a crazy eclectic song collection. So yeah, it can be absolutely anything. He does not differentiate. I've never heard him listen to he's listened to old country, right? Like, what are the Statler Brothers kind of stuff.
Kenny Rogers.
Yes. Yeah. Like old, but not like new country, not new country too much, but everything, rap, hip hop to yeah. He listens to everything. Absolutely everything. I don't know, but too much about, wait, I take that back. I can't say he listens to everything. I have not heard him listen to techno music very much. Like anything past Moby is a little too much for him. So yeah, other than that, yeah, he has a very eclectic song collection. So
that is absolutely true. I wish you all could see his YouTube history.
Oh my God.
It is hilarious.
It's wild.
Him and myself and one of our other friends will often sit in the kind of voice server where we hang out all day, and we'll sharing YouTube links of what we're listening to and it's just it is the weirdest stuff, and it's fantastic. And we'll jump from 90s rap to 80s pop to just all over the place. Yeah. So Vince has a very eclectic music taste, as do I. The question was, can we get a dog weekly alongside Warhammer Weekly? Maybe, although they may be able to co-host the shows.
Oh dear God! I mean, they're kind of his coworkers already, right?
They don't talk, and so we would still probably have to do that part.
Yeah, I mean, and somebody asked about the airbrush and tail. I don't really know how the tail got airbrushed, but Lyra's tail got airbrushed. I'll post the photo in my feed.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I took a picture of it.
Cathy's Twitter will be linked in the show notes below for those of you that do not have it. It's at Warhammer Weekly Widow.
No, it's not. You're wrong.
It's not?
No, somebody had that. So I'm just at Weekly Widow.
Oh, at Weekly Widow. There you go.
Yeah, at Weekly Widow. Yeah. Sorry, Tom. That's okay.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's all right.
That's what I get. So
it's okay.
But yeah, we will have that in the info below so that you all will be able to check out that photo. We have about 10 more minutes, so we're going to answer the last couple questions. If anybody has any burning questions, make sure you get those in the chat. So a question came in for myself of, do I want ice for this drink? Well, fortunately, I have had this bourbon cream on ice for most of the day, and so it's really cold, and I'm on like my third glass, and it's amazing. I brought Cathy 2 bottles of this, and
Yay!
I may have to go get her more because if I drink through this too quickly, well,
That's allowed because you brought me gin. So I mean, that was like kudos on the Beefeater 24. So that's you're already, you've got plenty of positives there for you can steal some bourbon cream. No worries.
Okay, other questions. Airbrush. What's Vince's favorite comic book character? I know this. Do you?
For the longest time, so before everything, like before the movies, it was Captain America. Like that was his favorite like superhero for the longest time. His favorite comic book character, I'm gonna go with Doom because that is like it goes with Vince thinking that he's the master of hard determinism and all of this. But yeah, if we get a superhero, is before all the Marvel movies, it was Captain America, but Doom is his favorite comic book character.
I think that is 100% accurate.
Yeah.
For those of you that think you know Vince, Dr. Doom is probably the closest character that he identifies with.
It's so crazy, right? So I had never like really read like graphic novels or comic books or anything, and so Vince got me started on the Endless, which is Neil Gaiman's series and about Dream, and so like I would like come back to him and be like, I can't believe like this is amazing, like all this, and he's just like, you haven't met the best one ever. And then he like made me read like one of the Doom ones, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'll be over here.
It's fantastic.
Little too far for me. Sorry.
Yeah, a little bit too close to home.
It's also one of the reasons that I have never liked Everybody Loves Raymond. Because I don't like the mother-in-law character because it's a little too tight. I've never
too much on the nose.
Too much on the nose for me. You know, Italian mother-in-law. And then I've also never particularly cared for The Office because I worked in a very similar kind of like stupid kind of office at one time. So I was like, I can't, this isn't funny to me. I can't do it. No.
My wife, we tried to watch it, or I tried to get her to watch it when we were down in Houston, and she couldn't do it. She said it was like way too close to her, like her personal experience because she worked in a cube farm, and yeah, it was just a bad, like she had a bad manager at the time, and it was just way too on the nose for her.
Yeah, no, I absolutely concur because there's, and it just depends on your experiences, right? So yeah.
I would be lying if I said that there weren't people who had accused me of being Dwight-ish. So
beats Bourbon and Battlestar Galactica?
Beats Bears and Battlestar
No,
Galactica.
I changed it for Bourbon for you.
Oh, well, I mean, it's legit. No, that's good. That's good.
Sorry, Tom.
No, it's fine. So a question came in: has Vince ever had any other type of facial hair?
No, he can't grow it. It doesn't work. So like he can't, like it doesn't fit. Like it doesn't ever grow like on the sides. It only grows like at the bottom and then on like up on the sides. So it doesn't work.
Yep.
Yeah.
The question, obviously, clearly a very popular question for this hour is tidy whities or boxers. This has already been answered, folks.
I don't understand. Like this has been really tame. Like I think you guys are luring me in with a false sense of security for this.
They only have 7 minutes, so there's no.
Sorry.
There's not very far we can go in the remaining 6.
I do want to like. So I've just saw like one that here like so. Hendrix Gin. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so Vince majored in maths. Vince did not major in maths. Tom majored in maths. Vince majored in philosophy and political science. So he tells me all the time that my arguments are illogical and unsound. So, you ever want to debate somebody who majored basically in debate, it's really hard to win. So I just sort of put myself in timeout and walk away.
That's how my wife does the same thing. She won't argue with me anymore.
No, it doesn't. I mean, these two guys are like all they do with each other is be hypercritical of each other and iron sharpens iron and all of that. Like they just at each other all the time. So by the time that the spouses turn around, we're like, dude, we're lost. It doesn't matter.
We're not
it's
interested
done.
in fighting.
No, we're
You
not.
guys fight all day.
Yeah.
We're not interested in fighting with you.
So Vince went to Ohio State, and I get his Ohio State tickets. So my dad and I go because Vince, has no time for that and no interest in sports. So my dad comes down and we go to the Buckeyes game. So yeah, that's one benefit of him not his hobby is this community. So it's kind of nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, you know where your husband is. He's in the basement.
That's right.
I was a math undergrad, and obviously like logic and argumentation and all that was like part and parcel of what I did. And currently I finished an MDiv, and I'm working on a PhD in biblical studies. So, but in all of that, I have to like assemble research and arguments and things like that. And so Vince and I get to have very in-depth, engaging conversations.
Engaging, is that what you call it? Okay.
I do all philosophical, right. And
oh my gosh,
there's a whole other side to us.
The what ifs are hilarious. Yeah, it gets pretty good. So yeah.
So is Vince into DC or Marvel more, and what does he think about the movies, the comic book movies?
So he really wishes that they could write a good Batman. And so that has always been his like problem with how they, not how they write it, how they script it. So the comic books are very clear. And if you, this is from Vince. Okay. But if you want to watch a good Batman, go watch Jessica Jones because she's a detective. She actually detects things, which is one of the things that the movies kind of like don't get right. And so he thinks that the Marvel franchise has been really well played, and that DC, doesn't do a good job of really staying true to like what they're trying to do or like what the messages they're trying to place. So yeah, I thought that was interesting. I love Jessica Jones, so I was all in for that.
It was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
Fabulous.
Last couple questions. We're against the wire now. So coffee, tea, or neither?
For me, it's both. I brought back 3 things from London. I brought back gin, I brought back perfume from the Joe Love store, and I brought back a ton of Fortnum and Mason tea. So that was killer. So yeah, those Brits, man, they know their gin and they know their tea. I approve. So yeah, there we go.
So Stu asks us if Vince had stopped gaming or painting tomorrow, what other hobby would he dive into? So we've answered part of this. So what do you think for tomorrow? What do you think he would dive into if that suddenly fell out?
I think he might teach. I don't know what he would teach necessarily. Whether it would be like I don't know if it would be a hobby or a thought, but I think that he might like if he stopped this, like what would he do? Like he could just kind of step into like an academic world and go that route, or training. Like he's amazing at like training. So he really, I don't know. That's not really answering those questions spot on because they're kind of hard. But yeah.
Kieran wants to know if he came to Columbus, would you go to a Buckeyes game with him?
We would totally go rock a Buckeyes game, and then we could come back and you could play Warhammer with Vince. He will not go to the game. He will not pick us up. He will not drop us off. We will have to figure that out, but
all of that is true. So lightning round. So weird habits that Vince has.
Not too many picadillos. I don't like it when he fails to put things in the dishwasher. Like just kind of strange little habits. I don't like the way he eats his ice cream. Like, so he has this thing where and I think it's from painting, where if it's like a yogurt bar or something like on a stick, he has this little thing that he does, and I swear it's because of these, like that's just become a habit. Yeah, that's a weird habit that I don't like.
Does Vince smoke?
No, Vince vapes.
Yep.
When we first started dating, he was smoking Reds, and it was disgusting.
Yes, he has not smoked for many, many years.
Yes.
And I don't see. Are any of you into Game of Thrones? If yes, who's your favorite character?
Yes, and I liked Ygritte. So, and then I don't know who Vince. I think Vince liked Lord Baelish because he was such a thing. Yeah.
I mean,
So
maybe. I suspect that, like myself, he's a big fan of Tyrion. For all the
oh
right
yeah,
reasons.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like I'm a huge Tyrion fan.
Because Vince and you guys like talk, right? You
We
get paid to
do.
talk. Like
We
that's your job, right? So like it's kind of like what is it? Thanks for smoking.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
he's
Thank
like,
you for smoking. Yep.
Charles Manson kills people and I talk. Like that's my job. So
Yeah. Yeah, and Tyrion does that
yeah,
well. And
yeah.
and his is a great sad story.
Yes. Yes.
That said, Vince would not agree with me on this one. For me, I also am a big Jon Snow fan.
Nobody cares what you think, Tom.
I know.
This is my hangout.
That's exactly it. So no, I'm a classic hero type person. Like I like the good guy, and
do you like the reformed villain or no?
I do like the reformed villain. I do.
Okay.
But I also like the tragic, like hero that overcomes, that came from humble origins and all that, and the true hidden secret and all that stuff. So so that, like, I also have a soft spot in my heart for both for Tyrion. Probably my favorite scene in all of Game of Thrones was the interaction in the first episode between Tyrion and Jon Snow, as they were connecting on a very deep level.
Yep.
And I've loved to see the interaction between the two of them kind of at a distance. So,
nice.
Okay, I think that's it. If we don't have any other questions, so
yeah, no. So before we go back to verbs, right? So, detailed a verb?
That's an adjective.
Damn it. I don't like words. I like numbers.
Vince details.
Vince details. That sounds like he's detailing a car.
Yeah.
I don't like that idea. No.
Yeah. Paints.
Vince paints works. And he laughs a lot. So he thinks he's hilarious. He thinks that he has the best sense of humor and everything is just wasted on the rest of us. So Vince laughs and then ... at himself.
So the runner-up I would have is executes.
Ooh, okay. All right. Delivers.
But I would even use the word delivered is a lot softer.
Vince satisfies.
Executes. You heard it here first, folks. The dog clearly heard me hit the table.
It's true. She's running for you.
Satisfies.
Good job. There you go.
Yeah, you're welcome. So that's it for our show. Cathy,
thank you so much
very much.
This was fun.
Thank you for all the viewers. We will maybe do this again sometime. Who knows?
I think
maybe
we need to have Amber back. Can we have Amber back on here?
I don't know if I want her to talk about me for an hour.
That's okay. That's all right. I mean, you did a really good job moderating. I was a little apprehensive of doing this, so thank you for stepping in and doing this. And I think that you'll definitely help Vince out, because I think that he was also a little bit like, well, what the heck's going to happen?
Well, he also knows I've been drinking for the last hour, so who knows?
Yes, but I haven't. So
that's true.
One of us has to keep it together. See,
indeed.
There we go.
Well, thank you for everyone for coming to the show, and we will see you next time.
Thank you.
Maybe you hit.
I
end.
can't figure this out. Oh my god. Okay.
Just hit the
all
end
right.
button.
All right. I swear. Here it is. Thank
or
you,
you can
Tom.
hit-
Bye.